Now that we have seen Assassin's Creed Shadows gameplay, there are still a lot of unanswered questions when it comes to the overall narrative. We've really only seen the basic premise. Naoe is seemingly trained to be a shinobi by her father Fujibashi Nagato, likely a mentor of the Assassin's Creed. Her village is then burned down and her father killed by the samurai of Oda Nobunaga, which includes Yasuke, and then we know, obviously not too long after, Yasuke and Naoe team up to liberate and unify Japan. That's about most of the extent of what we know and the basic premise of the game. And I'm sure we'll probably get a story trailer sometime in the relative future, but to this point, it's still not very clear how the Templars factor into all of this. We can make some assumptions based on what we've seen, but something a lot of people may be wondering is who are the Templars in AC Shadows, and what is their ultimate goal in this game? Because one of the more exciting narrative elements of Shadows is finally getting to see the Assassin's Creed and Templar Order in their classic forms. It's been 9 years since that's happened, and it does feel like, so far anyway, that they are keeping that part of the game and conflict a mystery. Even when the narrative director was asked about the Templars specifically, she said she didn't want to spoil anything on that just yet. However, just based on the ideals and goals of the Templars we've seen in the other games, and some hints within the trailers, we can make a pretty good assumption into who they are and how they'll factor into all of this. Because one of the biggest appeals of an Assassin's Creed story is how they fit the lore of the series and the conflict of the Assassins and Templars into real history, to put its own historical fiction twist on well-known events that occurred. We of course saw that in the Crusades, the French and American revolutions. They always find a way to put their own Assassin's Creed spin on these big points in history. So anyways, with all that in mind, we know the basis of the Templars' ideology is bringing peace to the world through order and control. They have the mindset of the people can't be trusted to have free will, so we'll decide for them. And this kind of ideology fits very well with the Portuguese Jesuits in Japan at the time. If you watch the Shogun TV series, which takes place around the same time as Shadows as well, it focuses on this quite a lot too, as the Portuguese sent Catholic missionaries to Japan to influence people of power, like the many warlords, and let their religion spread, as a means of conversion to gain control and colonize Japan. Which definitely sounds like something the Templars would do, trying to gain control and power from the Shadows. No pun intended, I swear. Not to mention, we can even see a Templar cross on one of the Portuguese ships coming into the harbor in the cinematic trailer. So I'd say it's very likely that the Templars have a link with the Portuguese Christians as they try to spread their influence to people of power. Many daimyos in Japan became Christians, and we do see an assassination of a daimyo in the gameplay walkthrough. Now, whether Naoe and Yasuke are actually aware of the Templars' influence is unclear. Maybe they discover later in the game the Templars are behind it all, but I would imagine seeing as Naoe is an assassin, she's probably aware of what the Templars are. But again, it's hard to say based on what little we know so far. There's a lot of theories out there about who could be the primary antagonist as well. I would think it's most likely the Templar Grand Master, who would probably be Portuguese and leading the effort to manipulate the Japanese warlords. Oda Nobunaga's role is still unclear, whether he'll be an antagonist or more of an ally. I would assume antagonist, as he does presumably order the execution of Naoe's village, hence why Yasuke is there under his orders. However, there is some pre-established lore here from Assassin's Creed Memories, a card game, and some other database entries, where Oda Nobunaga was an ally of the Assassins before betraying them after he gets his hands on a Sword of Eden, so in turn the Assassins kill him in 1582. The time of his reported real-life death. So who knows if Shadows is going to retcon this, or try to make its story fit within the previous lore. They may try to make it fit or change it slightly to better suit their story, because it was leaked a long time ago that Hattori Hanzo would also be in this game, who in the Assassin's Creed lore was a member of the Japanese Brotherhood and aided Nobunaga by assassinating his enemies before Nobunaga's betrayal. Again, it's really hard to say because we don't know how much time has passed from the start of the game, which is 1579, to when Naoe and Yasuke actually become allies. Do they become allies after Nobunaga's death, or is his death kind of the climax of the game in 1582? It wouldn't make much sense for Nobunaga to be a continued ally of the assassins if he attacked and executed Naoe's clan, and likely her father as well. Perhaps he was allies with the assassins up until that point, and that's when he decided to betray them and wipe them out, hence why Yasuke would leave his service to him and unite with Naoe, but he is still wearing his samurai armor and everything we've seen, so I don't know. Maybe there will be a time skip from the start of the game to a couple years when Naoe and Yasuke actually team up. The real Yasuke served Nobunaga until his death in 1582, where he was reportedly then exiled afterwards. But Assassin's Creed has never stuck to history one-to-one before, so they may put their own spin on that to better serve the story they want to tell. And records of these events are fleeting and rather inconsistent, so there is a lot of room to inject new ideas, which is what Assassin's Creed has always done. That's part of the basis of the series, is that the history you hear about in records and books isn't the full truth, as that was a big theme in the original game. So I don't know, there's a lot of different ways they could do it, but I'm quite confident the Templars will be linked to the Portuguese and their influence over many of the Japanese warlords. Hopefully we'll get a little more clarity as new trailers and information for the game's story comes out, but I do also like the mystery to all of it right now. Not really knowing the full extent of the Templars' influence, it gives me something to be intrigued by. But let me know if you've got any theories down in the comments, and as always, if you enjoyed the video, I'd appreciate it if you left a like and considered subscribing to the channel if you're new, and other than that, thank you for watching, and I hope you all have a phenomenal rest of your day.